thanks for staying with us. All right, so let us talk about do you know who I am attitude. Because as I said before, everybody does it at any small level. Security guard does his own. Everybody in Nigeria, we have that do you know who I am syndrome. And it's something we need to continually address, because the truth is that we talk about having dignity in the work you do, respecting people, law enforcement, respecting the rule of law. But when we say we play lip service to these things, because in reality, when the law catches up with us, we start calling, who do you know? Do you know somebody? I know somebody, I know somebody, I know somebody. You know, you want to take up, my PA was telling me that she wants somebody wants to get their passport. Do I know somebody? I said, don't you know passport office? Can't you just walk into passport office and request? Because we are not used to following procedure. We're not used to saying, this is all TVC, ordinary TVC internship. Go to the website or come to TVC and say, I would like to apply for internship. No, you have to call somebody. I know Mariam, I know that. Please now, help me. Come on. There is a process. We are not used to process. We just like things to be done just because it is me saying it. So we need to address that problem we have as a people, obeying the rule of law. Usually, even if we feel you are right, obey first. You can now complain and say, I found it very, especially because for someone like Kwamon, for example, you know the managing director, or you maybe not, but you know somebody that knows somebody. You say, I was rudely attended to at the airport. This happened, and make a formal complaint. That happened, and then they can address it. But causing that kind of altercation it sends a bad message.
It does, and it reminds me of a story I read like a long time ago, and it was either North or South Korea, I can't remember, some years back. They were having continuous crashes, plane crashes, and they were trying to find out what the problem could be. It had nothing to do with the craft. Everything seemed to be going on well. But what they noticed also was the culture of respect and how you have to defect to an elder. So they have a situation where the pilot is the oga or older, and the co-pilot cannot make any suggestions or it cannot make corrections if the pilot is his elder or his senior. And they found that just that relationship caused a lot of plane crashes. So I'm bringing it here because we have a culture where respect above common sense, respect above rational thinking, logical thinking. So yes, sir, you are older and I should give you respect. But you want to see the respect in a certain way. It cannot be that I'm correcting you even if you're wrong. It cannot be that I'm asking you to do something that you are not willing to do. In Nigeria and Africa, just expressing that is seen as disrespect.
Let me pause you for a second, ma'am.
Okay.
I think Oluseyi has been holding for a while. Good morning, Oluseyi. Oluseyi from Ikorodu, go ahead, you're live. Okay, continue, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's there. Hello? Oluseyi, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, sir,
I'm
please.
still here waiting for 3 good minutes.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from Agric Ikorodu. My name is Oluseyi.
Okay.
My name is Oluseyi.
Go ahead, sir. You're live. Go ahead. You're live on TV.
Yeah, thank you for picking up the call now. Let me tell you, we Nigerians, we are so much in a hurry to jump to conclusion and start blaming each other. Let's start. They have a procedure at the airport. Before you enter the departure hall, there's a screening point. When the flight is announced, before you leave the departure into the tarmac, there's a screening point. So if the water is not allowed to go on board the aircraft, how come within 3 screening points it was not shed or withdrawn from going with the passenger? Number 3, I want to talk about the pilot that took a decision. Whether male or female, that's not the major point here now. She's a captain in charge of the operation. A captain is the commander of the operation at the foot of the aircraft. She wanted to take a decision. She took the right decision by coming down to de-escalate the situation. If the escalation failed to take place at the foot of the situation, she doesn't have that sensible enough for her to power the aircraft to try to crush the people by the foot of the aircraft. It is wrong. The passengers around the aircraft can got shocked up into the engine of the aircraft. The aircraft has got damaged in the process of trying to ramp into the people that are standing in front of the aircraft. What she's supposed to have done is to call the control tower and ask them to call the security to take control of the situation. Everybody at the foot of the aircraft were wrong. The passenger that threw the trick onto the foot of the aircraft was never wrong because he ought to have been checked before ever getting to that foot of the aircraft. It is not the foot of the aircraft. They have to stop that person from taking water.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseyi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So there's a procedure. So that they should actually call for security to come and do a proper arrest, because obviously this was wrong for them to even be standing around and trying to convince and try to get him, and it shouldn't be that. You call security immediately, and which is what you're talking to. Respect. It's come on. We cannot just handcuff him, bundle him.
We can't just bundle him. We can't. So and that is what affects some procedures. And when the safety of people, is compromised because of what we term as respect, we need to sit down and look at it logically. I've seen this play out also in some cases where, let's say, a child, has been told, oh, don't do something, and an adult is telling that child to do it. Oh, says, I'm sorry, but my mom says I shouldn't do it. The adult knows it's wrong. The adult knows that they've been given the proper, but the adult is incensed. How dare you speak up and say you're not, what you're saying to that child is wrong. So we need to sit down as a people now, generally, that culture of respect. Respect is not meant to be, it's not a power play. It's just, it's to help both parties. It's not a blanket for adults to misbehave or people who think they are in influential positions to misbehave. It's just,
Okay, I hear you.
We can also pass it around. There's nothing wrong with respecting someone who you don't think is as old as you are or as influential as you are, but respect people for the jobs that they are holding, for that they are human beings, and when we do that, a lot of things will not be happening like this.
Okay, let me let Dami comment on that, because I know that Yoruba culture is very heavy on respect, and when those kind of things happen, there's always that way of it's kwamon, sir, no sir, that kind of thing. And just like she's saying that a job is a job. Yes, you can be kwamon, but at this moment, I would not allow you to enter this aircraft because of the rules. But how, therefore, do you think this could have been done better?
And that's why I was saying that if he was the subject of the matter, he should have behaved better if he didn't want the mud to be rubbed on his name. Because they are not calling any other person now. In fact, in the whole of the press statement,
even knows
the name of the pilots are even withheld. Nobody saw the name of the pilots. So I'm sure that maybe after investigation and they are out there flying, nobody even knows they were the ones involved in the scuffle. But it will forever be a dent on the name and image of Kwamwan as a person. And this is why we should behave better. Because now we are huge on respect as a people, and as Yoruba people who are culturally inclined. Then how then do you want to chastise a younger person if they will not give you receipt and evidence that, Daddy, this thing you said I should not do, you've done it before. And what was your excuse doing it then? Would you have said, oh, I didn't know, oh, this, or that? Then also, with the question you asked, there are sometimes that, yes, wanting to jump protocols sometimes is not something some people really want to do. But because from the other end, there's a bit of frustration. Look at the passport office story you said. Abigail had sat here several times saying that because she refused to go through the back door, her passport was withheld. She went to the passport office only to be told that, oh, your passport had been out since March. And she was just getting to know around May. So if she had employed the who knows who to just jump that process, maybe she would have had the passport.
I don't understand. So her passport already, but they didn't reach out to her.
They didn't reach out to her.
So she couldn't.
Because she did it herself. So she couldn't reach. In fact, at the end of the day, she said she needed to contact Dolapo, who said go to so and so place, after she was really tired and overwhelmed. Okay. So sometimes you will sit down and regret that decision, that why did I follow through? Yeah. Because they frustrate you going through the normal route. Yeah. And that's why some people now resort to, do you know who I am? If it will make it faster. Yeah. But in some cases of personal respect, attitude, do you know who I am doesn't work. Okay, yesterday in my house, I had issues with, we had issues with electricity. And
I have to pause you. Okay. I'm sorry, Dan is holding. Good morning, Dan. You're live. Dan, are you there? Hello, Dan.
I can hear I'm speaking.
Please go ahead. You're live.
Thank you for the conversation.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you for the. All right, thank you, man. Let me just tell you that the person who's saying who you know who I am is one that caused the problem in this country. I'm talking.
Dan.
Okay, the man with the question, he's cleared so many checkpoints before getting to this flight. If he's important woman, he should respect himself. You know that others are following in footsteps. He shouldn't behave like a child. in an airport. I'm trying to use that word. Let me tell you that if you say it's a VIP, they are the ones that destroy our country the way you are looking at it. Okay. I want to support my sister. I would say that he can't show himself. Others should learn from him the way he presents himself. He's a royal model, for God's sake. People are looking up to him.
Dan,
how they're pushing out
Dan, can I coach you for a second? Yes. What do you do? What's your job? What job do you do?
I'm a teacher, a lecturer.
You're what? A lecturer?
Yes.
Now, as a lecturer, have you ever been in a situation where one of your students was rude to you, or maybe you went to school as a lecturer, one of the non-teaching staff, maybe came to your office and did something, and you had to remind the person that, hold on, I am a lecturer here, you don't treat me that way. The reason I'm asking that question is because we are seeing Kwamon's error because he's Kwamon. But the truth is, we all somehow do the same thing in different ways. Are you saying you've never been in a situation where you have to remind a non-teaching staff that you are a teaching staff in your school?
Yes, we're all bound to make a mistake in various ways of life. But look at a number of people putting on the jacket that correcting him. He should know that if he's DID, if you know that his personality has to maintain, you know to respect integrity first.
Okay, point taken then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just to wrap up this "Do you know who I am" story. So I just got out the compound. I had called an electrician, and I saw a man standing. In all fairness, I thought it was maybe one of our occupants. People can have visitors, and I said, "Good evening, sir. Were you the one who called the electrician?" He said, I said, "Has he started working on it? Who is working on it?" He said, "Na me they do am now." And I'm like,
who's fighting you?
Who is fighting you? Why are you raising your voice at me? I said, I just came outside, and in his statement he said, "I don't know you." Me, that is you, the people that will pay you money. You don't even have to know me. But I came with that utmost respect because I didn't even know who you were, and I just decided to behave like my own self and be a human being. And the way he just chatted at me, I'm like, but now we go still pay you this money. So on the long run, I got angry and I told him, if you fix these lights, I will arrest you this night. So he really got angry and left because I needed to also prove the point that you cannot rubbish me in my own house, asking me, shouting at me just like that, because I just asked this very simple, normal question. So yes, sometimes the system forces you to want to jump protocol, the same system forces you to want to jump protocol and say, "Do you know who I am? I can call this, I can call that." If everything was seamless and we have been handed over this handout of prim and proper, I think we won't be here.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm told we have a caller from Abuja. His name is President. Good morning, Mr. President.
Be careful how you say that.
How are you?
Hey, go ahead.
I'm actually first-time caller.
Yeah, you said me. Never heard. Go ahead,
Okay,
Mr. President.
so I'll be very brief so I don't take too much of your time. The fact is that in this issue of Kwamwan and the airport authorities, I think they all have a portion of the blame, of course, obviously, but I think they say to whom much is given. Where Kwamwan messed up was that, okay, fine, even if you're very influential, what he should have done was that take names of the staff, sit at the lobby, then call whoever you want to call, since you know all the high and mighty in Nigeria, call them. It's not going to the aircraft standing at it. That was completely out of line. I mean, we can all recall what happened between Senator Ushumole and the airport authorities just some months ago. You see how he handled it. He stood there, he said this thing was beside him. He went back, he did not start fighting or walk to the plane and all that. So going to the plane, standing in front of the plane, that was completely absurd. So in a nutshell, I think what this thing has just taught us is that it doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't really teach you attitude or how to behave. Attitude is one thing, then getting rich is another thing. So that's my own take on the whole issue.
Okay, so you asked a question earlier about this Nigerian style, or like the power structure, influence structure.
Okay.
No, the
you know who I am.
Do you know who I am syndrome. And I'm of the opinion that everybody that has ever used that word in Nigeria have gotten somewhere where nobody knew who they are. And when they come back here, they don't have that remembrance of the humility of the experience. You know, when you hear when people say they met the governor of a state on the train or somewhere thereabout, and it's just, or people are there was a video of somebody accusing, I think it was Aregbesola, that did a video and was saying, I have a right to question you and what you did not do. And yes, this is America. You cannot say anything. You cannot fight me. You must answer my question. If it was in Nigeria, that video would not have happened. But because it was in America, so there are things that I feel.
It was a private guy having private meeting with his family members, and the clown now comes in.
It's inappropriate. It's abuse. Abuse is happening. When we have the do you know who I am factor would continue to thrive in Nigeria as long as it works. And currently, having connections work. Having connections will help you jump the queue. Knowing people would help you fast track anything you are doing. Even in this internship and stuff you're talking about, when you try to come officially, if you don't know anybody, it's a process. So as long as the system continues to support having connection, then everybody will be on the hustle to have connection. As long as the system encourages and supports, if you have money and you have power, everybody will be on the hustle. I've driven to an event center in my small car, and they said there was no parking space, and a big car showed up, and parking space showed up for the bigger car. That's why you will not be poor. It is not a good thing to be poor in Nigeria. There are many things we do that just makes it withers on the values that we should hold on to, which is why this case must not be swept under it must be dealt with so that we strengthen the value. We encourage the officials and officers that your work is being honored. Nobody is above the law. Even the PR letter, for me, does not even speak right. Because in that PR letter, it was said that the fan has apologized, somebody has apologized, they offered a private jet. I'm like, even this letter there's a video clip of somebody standing in front of the plane and walking backwards, and then you now write a letter and say the authorities apologize. I will be expecting that all the authorities that they say apologize should come out and say no, that wasn't what we did. Exactly. Because you need to protect the institution. No human being should be bigger than an institution, to the point that the human being they will say letter and say the institution apologized to you.
So that's what I said earlier, that that part of the letter, they can't speak for FAN, they cannot speak for NCAA, they cannot do that. And the PR thinks that this is the best way to, position its client. And that is because we don't even have consequences for just bad behavior generally. And bad behavior is not just when you stand in front of the plane walking backwards. It's also when you pen some words, taking charge of the narrative for these institutions. That person, I don't know what kind of PR, whatever that they studied, but that's something that is wrong.
Let me take Eddie. Eddie, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so you see, the problem with this country is that when consequences for actions are not taken, this is what happens. People take things as in laws into their hands. Now, I can give you a personal experience. I had a similar issue in an airport in Nigeria. I was traveling. I checked in, got on board with my hand luggage. When I got on the aircraft, the air hostess inside the aircraft told me I would have to check in my hand luggage. And I told her I don't have a padlock to lock my bag. So what do we do? She said, it's either I check it in or I step down. While we're having this conversation, the pilot came. They had a conversation with the air hostess. And the next thing, I saw aviation security come in, and they took me out. They said the pilot is not comfortable with me on board. And that was it. The aircraft left. I went to the aviation security office, wrote a complaint, narrating everything that happened. And after that, that was it. Nobody got back to me. Nobody told me anything. I had to book another flight. So what do you do in such situations? You'll be left with no choice but to take laws into your hands. So I feel we need to do better as a country. There should be consequences for every action.
Fantastic. So that's a law abiding citizen.
That the system will frustrate you to want to go through corners. What if he had used the power of, do you know who I am? Everybody would have scampered around. And the next thing you now begin to hear, oh, God, we are sorry, you should have told us.
But they tell us to check in our luggage.
No, but he says, why can't we take the next step? Why can't we take the next and provide a solution? Okay, let's see. We guarantee you that we're putting this stamp on it for some reason. But
customer service is poor in Nigeria as well.
Customer service, just being human, just being human to each other. that thing you're talking about where you have a security man at the gate, he knows that this is the only way he can. So he will talk to you in such a way. There's no reason for him to be rude to you, but he will be so rude to you. You will
park here.
Park here. Oh God, my car can't enter this space. This space is too small. If you don't go back, just go. And he's just happy that he's able to say, oh, these people, he's happy that finally he's able to vent, you know. So that happens really. And that is why you have people that just make calls and...
There's somebody send a message. Please get comments ready.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Somebody said that what if the security personnel are trying to cover their tracks?
Okay.
Because if it was not alcohol and it was water, and they just were trying to be overzealous, as I said earlier, there's a possibility that they're only trying to cover the tracks and insisting it's alcohol. Because he is saying he can prove, according to the report, that they gave him water at the land, and it's the water at the land that is in the flask. So there's a possibility also, because you can't really prove it. We can't find the flask, I'm sure. I don't know what kind of investigation they want to do to find the flask and confirm if it was alcohol or water.
They can't find the flask.
I can't.
They must find the flask.
I don't know if they can find the flask or not.
If they can't find the flask, they should find the person who was alleged that he spilled it on.
So when he was taken away, of course. When he was taken away,
eventually,
did they check that he had alcohol?
There's thorough investigation. So we'll find out after to see if indeed they can confirm.
See, in both movies, this kind of investigation, they air it. Oh, please, we want to see it.
This is not Hollywood. This is real life.
Nollywood.
We want to see it.
Let's take a few comments on social media.
Yeah, Brickhouse Capital said, in an attempt to get respect, Kwamwan has used his own hands to disrespect himself. He has now become an object of ridicule and insult. What a shame. Pride indeed goes before a fall. We have another one here says that Just Reason says Kwamwan's behavior cannot be excused in any way, shape, form, or size. And somebody is saying that, Aderoka is saying that, why didn't he hire a private jet instead to avoid all of this scruffle at least? And Hafix was said, even if you board business class, is not a commercial plane?
You complain that if you enter private jet, you complain.
But if you go into commercial, if you go into commercial, you must abide by the rules of the commercial. That's why they were advising you should do private, where he could take any flask, take anything.
Let me let you finish that one you were saying you're reading.
So this one also says that Adeoye Oladayo says, no be say people no one pass through procedure. But by the time frustration one key person, not to use who you know person. No.
Let me take Tony. Thanks for calling, Tony. You're live.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify what you said. Remember, there was a point you also said, Kwamwan himself said that the content of what he had in his flask was medications from his doctor.
Exactly.
Also remember that he also, and that when he's, there was also a point you also said that he spilled the drink on the staff of the aircraft.
Yes.
And they confirmed that it was alcohol. So which one do we believe?
Exactly.
Now his PR is coming out to tell us that the content was water. Murayo, which one do we now believe? Yeah. Is it the water? Is it the medication from his doctor?
Or is it the alcohol?
Which one do we believe?
Thank you very much.
It could be all three and still be right.
Thank you very much.
It could be. I'm telling you, it could be all three. Alcohol has some water content in it.
I have this from Dr. Greg. She said that pilot suspension may have been screwed under, which might be because of the safety rules under the NCAA.
Yes.
As an AFSEC aviation security operator, I can tell that the pilots got clarity of movement before the flight took off.
Yeah.
Kwamwan disregarded the value jet and he should have done better. So there's a possibility at the control room she was given.
Yeah.
And but the guys on the ground should have actually cleared that place.
They were trying to clear him. He refused to clear because it was when he was almost taken, his head almost taken off. I'm sorry. That they were saying to him, you should have stayed. You should have stayed.
But I'm sorry, if we're also
we have audio of the recording.
Yes, if we flip this story back and imagine that on it today we are saying blackout, this happened to Kwamwan, what do you think value jets will be held for? What do you think that pilot will be held for?
Murder.
What if today, and by 4 o'clock, everything don't finish now?
Let me, Hassan, thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Murayo.
Yes, sir.
You cannot be a senior advocate for Kwamwan. We are forgiving you for being an anchor. You are trying to balance it up. No problem. No problem with that. Look, you see, what Kwamwan did is unwarranted and very, very absurd of him. You see, what you are seeing today is a total display of arrogance of people that are very close to power. They have been doing it for a very long time. People have been breaking protocols in the airport. You see, they are just trying to revive the game made in the airports. Before, during the military regime, people used to drive up to the tarmac.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah.
To the tarmac. That one was stopped. Now, this issue of do you know me? Look, this do you know me? Please, we are going to scrutinize it. And the pilots have every right to stop someone from boarding his plane because he is the driver. He is the pilot of the aircraft. He can stop him. And a terrorist can come in different color. He can come in the name of a big man. He can come in the name of a servant. So there's no problem with that. And for that guy that wrote, he wrote for his organ. He was employed by Form 1 and paid by Form 1. He was there to project the image of his organ. So that's what he wrote for Form 1. That people apologize they did that does not hold water with us. And people should follow protocol. Not because you are with cream, de la cream in the society. You can do whatever you like. If you have the money, please go and take your own private aircraft. Do whatever you like. We don't have problem with that. And secondly, about the airport workers, there is overzealousness in them. A lot of them, they took their frustration to that work. A lot of them took their hatred, personal hatred, to their job. They should separate their job from personal hatred. We saw it happening, even in banks. People misbehave. Yesterday I was in a bank. I have to tell the lady, that look, madam, I'm in a bank, I'm not in your house. I come to the bank, I did not come to your house. Please.
Okay.
You understand?
Thank you very much, Hassan.
Good morning.
So I got a message from somebody. I cannot confirm who these people are. So, but I'm reading it according because it gives us another perspective. This article is from Bolaji Basia or Bashia. Basia. So let me just skip all the preambles. But from this article, the person is saying that his friend is assuming there's friends with Kwamwan, saying that during last year Canada tour, that Kwamwan was rushed to the hospital, and then when he found him at the hospital, and there was the doctor diagnosed that he had dehydration, and he said that he needs to be drinking water more often. That he was there, according to this person. Then not long after that, the doctor came in and said everything is fine, but that his problem was dehydration, and he needs to drink water more often. Then she suggested a special brand of water for him for quick hydration. That was when he bought the cooler bottle that he carries around everywhere he goes with him, water. Now, if you are close to Kwamwan, you will know he sweats a lot. As a matter of fact, he uses more than 4 handkerchiefs daily. My point is the content in that cooler that he carries around couldn't have been alcohol-based on my experience of how it all started, especially when the said incident happened earlier in the morning and after attending business meeting. On what happened at the Abuja airport, the FAA has said that the investigation is ongoing. Let's wait for the conclusion of the investigation. So that's another angle. Somebody is saying that this guy has a special kind of water. So it's medical. So now we have medical water and content. So let's wait for the investigation.
No, water is medication. So it confirms
there's a rule
what he said.
Yes, which is water as well as medication.
Okay. But there is also a rule that says that if it's medication, it also has to go through due process. You can carry medication. Nobody says you can't carry medication.
But he had gone through. He went through
said he had to go through the process of asserting that it is something for medical.
So if you look at it, he had gotten to the foot of the plane, meaning he had gone through boarding gate.
They said
there are people that are there to screen him. The questions must have been asked. You gave us your story. They'll ask what's in your flask. So probably he was asked that question and he was allowed to get to that point. That point is the last point, really. Usually, by the time you get to that point, everything on you is supposed to be allowed, unless, there's a final check.
Or they give feedback to them.
So what is happening there?
If it was alcohol indeed, they could have stopped it earlier.
It could also be, because they said this water, it cannot be the medicated water that was prescribed, because this water was given to him inside the lounge.
Yes, but see, there's something. Do you know why I may believe that? There's this cup I used to have that has a filter and has some sort of stands that helps you purify water.
Alkaline.
And helps you...
When you throw the water away,
so that
you put
could
another
be
water, is still good.
That particular
but they were going to give him water on the plane.
He does not. Yes, maybe he always has to pour his water through that filter. Because there's something like that. I know that.
If you don't carry the flask, or that he cannot drink what is in the flask.
So investigation would help us get clarity. But
first of all, it was liquid content that he had. And then when he spilled it, they thought it was alcohol.
Okay, so again, investigation is ongoing.
It's okay.
And we'll see what happens. Let's take a few comments on social as we wrap up.
It's such a small matter, but look at how we have to dissect it as if it's...
Expanded, because it's Kwam 1. If it was just a Yalagbaja, nobody can... Go ahead. Comments.
Okay, we have Don Yaks TV. He says that he's suggesting a flight ban. NCAA, FM, FAN, NAMA begin to implement flight ban on airing passengers to send a clear message that such conducts would not be tolerated and to sustain healthy and safety practices. And Olale Koidowo said all standard operating procedure has been violated, and that is why this happened in the first place. But somebody is also saying medical water inside flasks.
I'll be very pained if these guys are trying to cover their tracks. If the airport personnel are trying to cover, that would really, I'll be upset, because
but it's a possibility. This is my country. I have seen things happen. I'll
be very pained if they're trying to cover that by calling it alcohol. I don't know. We'll see, because again, that's why
I don't think anybody would try anything like that with a Kwam 1.
Don't say. They have tried with many people. Let's just do a proper investigation. There's nothing that Nigerians have not tried, and they will try you. So proper investigation.
Because sometimes some influential people are asked to give us money, and if you refuse to give them money, they'll find something to just rope something around before you know it.
Do you know many people that are languishing in yes, do you know how many people are languishing in jail because of somebody tried something? It's possible, but please let's have a transparent investigation. I have Thingami Fire says the pilot's offense was he says suspension of the pilot was not in any way unfair, as the crew responded in a fit of emotion, commencing the departure without being cleared. But we hear that, from someone who works there, that for her to have done that, she must have been cleared. And the pilots may not have seen the errant passenger lurking under the aircraft, but the control tower and ground crew were aware. The pilot's offense was commencing departure without clearance and rightfully suspended for allowing emotion cloud their judgment.
Right. Let me take Tolu from Isolo. Thanks for calling, Tolu. You're live.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sonny, not Olu.
Sonny. My apologies. Yes. Go ahead, Sonny.
Thank you very much. First time caller, please.
Welcome to the show.
You see, if one has been following the character of Guam, everybody will have seen that he has this pride that is palpable everywhere he goes to. And it's not impossible that it's as a result of his pride that he exhibits almost everywhere and at every occasion that was overwhelming him at that place. Of course, there are rules at every place one goes to. And the rule there is simple. Whether you are traveling within the country or outside the country, is that you don't take any liquid. And before you can even take any liquid, just like some of you have said, the thing must have been proved that this is not a harmful liquid. Of course, the person that spilled the drink on wouldn't have been lying. If really it was the water, there was no difficulty in showing that to them and opening the thing. He became such a difficult person, became recalcitrant, and he was trying to prove a point because of his person. Because of his person. Now he has done it in a way that he has brought shame and disrespect to himself.
Okay.
He has a name, but he has decided to want to drag his name in the mud.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a few comments.
Shona said, in any civilized nation, when a plane is trying to move or take off and there is someone or something in their way, it stops completely and the security or police clears the way before it moves again. So Fidelis also said, whatever the excuse is, one should have known better than making himself a public ridicule.
And usually there are cameras at the bottom. International flights, I know they have cameras. But maybe because it's a value, it's a domestic flight, maybe there's no camera at that bottom part, just to give you, because even though you need clarity from the control room, as a pilot, you need eyes also around the plane.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's got to be something to give her indication. But let's take a few more comments.
Banki's Corner was replying Bolaji Basia. He said Bolaji Basia is Kwamwan's friend. Who will he defend?
I'm just saying, exactly. So we'll look at.
He has featured in songs by.
So we'll see. I mean, again, that's why, because there are ways of
investigating.
There are other co-passengers who will have their details, and the NCA can call them to confirm. Were you there? What do you see? What happened? Because the other passengers around in and around that area.
Let me tell you something that happened yesterday, just as I drove out of our very main gate. A car was driving onto a lane. And this bike person, it was a police officer dressed in police uniform with moped on his back, came out of nowhere and hit that car. And of course, he was the one that was impacted, swerved and turned, and he was everywhere. His bike scattered. Thankfully, he got up and he went for that car, the driver of the car. If you were not there, you would think the car hit him, but he hit that man. We had to drive away, and I know that man will be in trouble, because here he is wearing his police uniform. Nobody will believe. There are no cameras to show that he was not the one at fault. And the fact that he was wearing his police uniform, that guy automatically he's at fault. So it's important for us to always give details. Right. Some things may not appear as would appear as it seems. It's important that we give the right details and protect people. It just reminds me of one of the commandments, 10 commandments, that shall not bear false witness against your neighbor.
So that one was not in Nigeria.
We have forgotten that.
They say Kwabod is going to release an album from this.
Anyway,
yes, that we're going to have a release narrating the story of what happened on the tarmac.
Can you give us a clip?
Maybe that will give us
a pre-up of that kind of song.
It's intro now. You first of all start that. What kind of thing happened to me like this? Nígbà tí mo wà nínú plane tí mo go value jet. Ìgbà tá dé di value jet. Ìgbà tá dé di value jet tí mo fẹ́ wọlé o, tí mo fẹ́ wọlé o. Wọ́n wá béèrè pé kí ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi nínú flask. Mo lómi ni o.
Yo.
Don't go sit on.
It's the remix.
I'm feeling it.
She was doing it very right.
To give us a person.
That's it now. Báwọn officials ṣe dé, wọ́n kọ rẹpẹtẹ o, wọ́n dúró síwájú mi. Wọ́n ní Alhaji, wọ́n lórí ẹ̀ ṣe a lè rí nǹkan tó wà nínú bọ́ọ̀tù yẹn o, ṣe a lè rí.
You know, yeah, she's not as listening to.
Medication ni o, omi tí mo ní láti mú ni.
You should say the Ghanaian. And then the plane was Ghanaian.
Gbogbo àwọn officials wá ganu sí mi o, wọ́n wá ganu sí mi. Wọ́n ní bàbá kí ló wà nínú kọ́ọ̀pù tẹ́gbẹ́, èmi kò ní ṣàìmóore.
Fantastic.
We have done advanced album.
Love it. That's all we can take. But we really hope the investigation is thorough, and then we know what happened, and all who's involved take responsibility. That's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
The next Kwam too.
And this is the worst topic ever done.